This is Jackson's .TV with Coach Greg Jackson. Coach, the team has been doing awfully well, you know, going back to Brian Stan, Melvin, Clay, and Carlos. Can you comment on the performance of how well the team has been doing?
You know, it's we're very lucky. We've had some great nights. I wish they could all be that great, but you know, we do what we do in the gym. We work really hard here so that we can have good nights, and it's just one of those things that sometimes you're the windshield and sometimes you're the bug, and we got to be the windshield, which is always nice.
And it's interesting because you know, just being here at the gym and seeing how the guys work, they really work as a team. The fighters do. Can you kind of comment on how the fighters work as a team?
I think one of our big strengths is that it's really all about the teamwork. It's all for one and one for all. I mean, we do have protocols in place if we have to fight each other, but that hasn't changed the morale here. That hasn't changed the brotherhood here. That doesn't change the way we care about each other. And it works really, really well. Everybody's always in helping each other out. You know, hey, I caught you here. How did you catch me there? And that kind of information flow is very, very important when you're dealing with a team of our size.
You also see that team concept also played out with the coaches between you and Coach Wink and the other coaches involved. Can you kind of describe briefly how this works? Because we do see you working with the fighters hands-on every day. How does this work?
Well, you know, me and Wink get together and figure out game plans and stuff. You know, he's a striking genius, and he's my big bro and my mentor, and I love him to death. And we've been a well-oiled machine for 16, 17 years, whatever it's been now. It's been a long time. And we work really well together. My part is I have to think of, I'm constantly coming up with new moves. I do private lessons every day with the fighters, so each fighter gets like a half an hour private lesson, and you know, I try to innovate new techniques. I try to see where the holes are in our opponent's game. Kind of every fighter has a 2-point plan, if you will. One is a personal growth plan, and that's where I give them new techniques, new ideas. You know, I'm on the real technical side, and then the other side is a game plan specific. In other words, we're training specifically because this guy does these certain things or he doesn't do these certain things, what have you. So it's very hands-on, and it's my favorite part is coming up with new moves or new ideas or figuring out the structure stuff, how I can best make the fighter, you know, perform at his, you know, the absolute peak, and that's a real challenge, because for me every fighter is different. Clay Guida is very different than Melvin Gillard, is very different than John Jones, is very different than Keith Jardine, is very different. They're all very different styles, and so to bring out the best in all of those styles, I have to not only understand a very technical kind of base from which they all shoot from, but each individual body type, each individual preference, as far as, you know, some people like to counter on technique, some people like to do, like if you're doing jiu-jitsu, you set up a very strong position and then counter. Some people like to go on the attack, or a blend of that, and so it's just a methodology. What I do is a methodology of kind of bringing out the best in each fighter.
And do you think, you know, having your gym here in Albuquerque, being from New Mexico, does this environment lend itself to having the fighters focus on their training as opposed, let's say, to other geographical areas in the States? I would hope so.
For me, the desert is a very special place, especially the high desert. Nothing weak survives here. If you go out on and run in my foothills with me, all you see are cactuses and coyotes and rabbits. You either have to be really smart or really tough with spines growing out of you. There's no big giant trees with all this lush kind of greenery. Everything is short, everything is tough, everything is built to be a fighter. And so I think that speaks to who we are. That speaks to that toughness, that craftiness, that ability to survive in adversity. I really feel that geographically, more so than the ability to focus, because, you know, it's such a small population here, I think that the actual place itself gives us a great advantage.
And this Saturday on July 9th, we have the Jackson's MMA Series 5. Can you comment about some of those matchups, Buddy's fight and some of the other matchups we're going to be seeing?
Well, the Jackson's MMA series coming up is just going to be another great night of fights. Yeah, Buddy Roberts is leading the charge as the main event, and you know, this kid's a real up-and-comer. He just took a world title in a smaller organization, and we're going to see if he's got the stuff to kind of go to that next level. So it's really exciting. And then every fight down is basically the same thing. We've got this group of up-and-comers, people that are going to be really impressive. Willie Parks, there's a ton of guys on there, and each one of them has the potential to be a great fighter. So it's going to be a real test. I mean, the people you see on Saturday might be in a year or less, months in the next UFC and kicking butt. So it's an exciting time to really get a sneak peek into the future of the division.
Okay, Greg, thank you very much for your time, and good luck at the fights on this Saturday.
Thank you very much.